Passionate about music.
One of the guys here at Gaydar was raving about this production called Soho Cinders, which is currently on in the West End, and we have one of the stars of said show here now, Michael Xavier. Hello and welcome to Gaydar.
Hello there, how are you?
Well,
Excellent.
excited. I just mentioned your name and the whole floor went... you have been seen in many a play. Love story, you were, I'm quoting, good-looking, tall and fabulous.
Oh,
in that. Into the Woods, we had rave reviews about that, and we've heard so much about this this play. You're turning sort of Cinderella on its head. Tell us a bit more about it.
Well, it's kind of a modern-day parody of the Cinderella story. I play a mayoral electorate called James Prince, who is kind of representing the prince in the Cinderella story. And he is romantically involved with a rent boy called Robbie, who is our Cinderella of the story.
Wow.
But he also has a fiancée. So it's a very complicated little love triangle. And obviously there are other characters in the show as well. We have Velcro, who's kind of like the Buttons character, who's she's a friend of Robbie's. She's in love with him, and obviously because he's gay, she'll never find love with him, and so it's kind of an unrequited love story with her. And we've got the two ugly sisters who are worth buying a ticket for alone, because they are just the most fabulous comedy actresses you'll ever see on stage. They're just wonderful. Susie Chard and Beverly Rudd.
Why was it, obviously this has got a very gay feeling to it, this show. Why was it in particular, had they said why they wanted to go down that route?
I think, I'm not sure actually. It's a good question. It was, Elliot mentioned something about this before. Elliot Davis, who is the book writer, mentioned a story about why they turned it on its head. Originally, they had the idea of writing a kind of EastEnders, the musical type thing with Velcro as the young single mum character, being the main character. And then I think he came across so many things in the newspapers of these politicians who were having affairs with boys. He thought, well, actually, maybe we could infuse that into the story and make it more of a kind of Cinderella type story. And that's where that came in. So Velcro stayed, but shifted her place in the story.
It sounds like if Matthew Bourne, what he did with White Swan, you've done it for this. Doesn't it?
A little
on its head. How did Stephen Fry get involved? Because he's narrating it, isn't he?
He is. Well, actually, we did a concert version of this for charity back in October last year, and Stephen came to see it and just loved it and decided that he wanted to be a part of it. So they approached him and said, "Well, would you narrate the show then?" And he said, "By all means." So there we are.
Friends in high places.
No.
So it sounds like a lot of fun to be involved with, from what you've told us.
Oh, it's fantastic. It really is a great show. I mean, we have so much fun doing it, but I mean, the audiences every night are just raving about it. So it really is worth getting. I mean, apparently the ticket sales are rocketing at the moment, so it's a good, if you want to come and see it, buy a ticket as soon as possible.
Which of the songs, if we come and see it, which of the songs should we be looking out for the most?
Oh, the songs are just beautiful. There's so many beautiful songs in the show. There's a song called Gypsies of the Ether, which is a song that James Prince, with my character, and Robbie sing together, which is all about how they kind of found each other online and how so they are gypsies of the ether, essentially. But it's a beautiful kind of love ballad. And there's also a really lovely song near the end of the show called Let Him Go, which is sung by Velcro, who's obviously in love with Robbie, and Marilyn, who is played by Jenna Russell, who is in my fiancé. And they're just sitting there kind of telling each other that, that there are times in life when you just have to put an end to a relationship and allow them to move on. And it's just the lyrics and the tune just meld so beautifully. It's such a gorgeous song, and everybody comments on that number as well, and obviously played brilliantly as well. Amy Lennox is playing Velcro.
Jenna Russell is actually a dear acting friend of our very own producer Robin, so he's been raving about her. Is there a song called "You Can't Tell the Gays from the Straights These Days"?
Yes, there is. Yeah.
I want to hear that already, don't you?
It's called "It's Hard to Tell."
Hard to tell.
So the whole thing is it's hard to tell the gay boys from the straight these days. You know, that's the basic tune of the whole show.
Can we get an amen on that?
It's very funny.
Well, listen, I'll tell you what, you saw this to us. Soho Cinders is at the Soho Theatre on Dean Street in London until the 9th of September at the moment. Michael Xavier, thank you so much for talking to Gaydar.
Thank you very much.
Passionate about music.